Welcome to the Weare March 22nd Planning Board meeting. As our chairman, Mr. Francisco, has an application before us, he's stepping down. First on the agenda, the lot line adjustment for Craig Francisco, Badger Bridge Road, map 107-24, lot 24 and 30. In the R and RA zone. We've got a design review and formal consideration checklist. Yep, this is just a formal consideration, right? There's no design review here, right?
No design review.
So we can,
Mr. Vice Chair, if I can. The formal consideration checklist says everything in the design review checklist, so I attached the checklist for you. I was being nice.
okay.
This is part of the Paper Reduction Act of 2017.
Right.
Formal consideration checklist, he's got, since it's a lot line adjustment, he's got some not applicable items. Is that, what's that, number 14? Is that a W for that?
I didn't bring my file, sorry.
Number 14, is that W, Chris?
That's a W.
Okay.
13, 14, and 15.
He was asking for a waiver for test pits, since it's an existing lot, he's making it larger. Anybody want to make a motion on the waiver for number 14?
So, we're doing nothing but enlarging the lot, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I'll move that we accept the waiver for number 14.
Moved by Chuck. I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Looks like that's, checklist is complete.
What about the other waiver?
You have the waiver for 15? Oh, no, that's the design review checklist. Formal consideration checklist is one. Right there. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you advise him that he has the option to wait for full board?
I will. We can do the checklist anyway. The, before you proceed,
Blanket waivers for 13 and 14.
yeah, we'll do the formal consideration.
So this is irrelevant.
Yes, well, that's why I asked about it. The, we only have 3 members here. We have a quorum, but barely. So it's the applicant's choice whether to proceed or not.
Sure.
Okay.
that meaning that he needs all 3 votes?
No, I need two.
No, he doesn't need all 3 votes, but you only need a majority of the quorum.
Hang on the, okay. I think it was ZBA I was thinking of, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll explain the application, Craig?
No, I didn't know it's accepted as complete.
I'm sorry.
I missed that part.
Yes.
Move that we accept the application as complete.
Chuck seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
They did make some pretty little color. Brought like 10 of them for all 3 of them.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on a minute, Craig. Is everybody in the public about the Francisco lot line adjustment? No? Okay.
Basically, lots 30 is currently 60, almost 62 acres. This is a portion of the boundary. It goes, if you're familiar with the area, lot 60 almost gets up to the cell tower in Covey Hill. So it's very strange shaped. The proposal is take the blue shaded area, 3.1 acres, and add it to lot 24. Very simply.
So you're,
There is a zone line currently here, but basically very simple. I want to make lot 24 existing is 3.3 acres, and I want to make it 6 point. My addition is not very good. 3.37, yes, 3.37 plus 3.1 is 6.5.
Now, what were the zones, the residential and,
The lot line is right on, the zone line is right on this lot line, on the existing lot line.
so the entire
Existing lot 24 is all residential.
residential.
Existing lot 30 is all rural ag.
That, you're extending essentially that 50-foot right-of-way.
Yes,
Before it was 215 feet or something like that long.
yes.
Now you're adding, yeah, okay.
I'm keeping that frontage with lot 30, yes.
Mhm. And it's still 50 feet wide back here where?
Yep.
It goes through the stone wall?
Yep.
so which road is the frontage? What's this, these are combined?
Abijah Bridge.
Lodge Bridge Road?
On this,
The frontage is the same.
yeah, on the class, on the town road, it's by the bridge road. Wildwood is a private road.
I did receive a variance from the zoning board, it's mentioned here someplace. August 2016 to have a driveway off Abijah Bridge Road.
You mean Wildwood?
Yes. Yes, I mean Wildwood. I got a variance to come off Wildwood, yes.
Where are you going, to that back, to the back side of that lot?
Yeah.
What's the purpose of the lot line?
Just to make the lot a little bit bigger and more buildable. It's, the blue area is more level, a lot easier to build on.
But doesn't this change the frontage? Because right now, the lot 24 doesn't have any frontage, right?
No, right now lot 24 has frontage here.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Frontage and access and all those issues are still the same. I'm basically undoing a lot line adjustment I did in 2004.
So
Yes.
you'll be coming back in a few years
To redo it, yeah. Hopefully not.
Is 24 buildable, actually?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little difficult, but yes, you could.
Could be done.
That's why I'm doing lot line adjustments. It's not near as difficult now.
Even though the frontage is to the, to the west, if this, if the lot line adjustment is approved, then then the access would be from the north,
No.
No, it'd be
This
from
tail
Wild, it'd be from
belongs to
Wildwood.
this piece back here.
but couldn't the new piece use this
No,
because?
because I'm not gonna let them. That's gonna remain part of
It
lot
would have to be
30.
a common driveway to do that, because then this lot could
I see.
use it, and this lot could be.
Is it practical to run a driveway from Abijah Bridge Road
What?
west all the way to the more buildable part?
That's why I got a variance to come in off Wildwood, so I can bring a driveway through here.
And that works.
Yes.
Any more questions?
I don't.
Move that the application be approved.
No, we could- I didn't check with the butter. Any butters present? I just want to check here for a butter input, but not seeing none.
There are comments attached to that.
Close through butters.
That's first.
That D is part of the comment.
Sticky.
No idea.
Access to the shore of Lake Harvest may be located on or through Mr. Francisco's property.
Where is Miss London's property?
Her property is, from this area, is probably about half a mile
She's over there.
over here. However, her deed is attached. And deed says, at the bottom of the first page, together with right and common grant toward others to pass and repass, yabba dabba do. Over right of way. From road from Clinton Grove to Deering to the Lake Forest.
Together with the right column for the ground and over a right of way, in right of way, now running from east to west side of the road.
How,
To be blunt about it, I don't know where this right-of-way easement is, but this property is not on the lake, so I can't be affecting her right-of-way.
The other thing is, once an easement is granted, it's an easement.
Yeah, it's not gonna go away. It's just,
Can't go away unless you.
I don't know where it is. I also got an email from her that,
But there's no location.
no, I don't know where it is. My guess is it's on Beals Road, but I don't know that.
Where's Beals Road?
Beals Road is right here.
Okay.
I'm guessing it's over here someplace. And that's just a wild guess because it's deeded from Mr. Beals to, it was deeded from E.A. Beals to Ray Bigwood. So I'm assuming it's, Beals Road was named after E.A. Beals is my assumption, and Beals Road accesses a bunch of house lots on Horace Lake.
And pretty much where you are, all belong to Bigwood at one point, right?
This never did. These two were owned by Bodner. This was all Bigwood.
Yeah, okay.
so Chip, you're saying that
Unless
this
you go,
transfer would have no Or this lot line adjustment would have no impact?
No, if there was an easement across that land, there would still be an easement across that land.
Let's assume that this land is developed in some way.
Easement's still there. You can't build in an easement, you can't do anything in the easement to block a means of egress. Which is why I don't know why this person is asking this question.
Well, there's very little space to run an easement through there.
Well, the easement's going to Horace Lake. It's only 152 feet long by 30 feet wide.
You're more than 152 feet from Horace Lake.
Yes, I'm more than 152 feet from Horace Lake, so it can't go through this property. It's just, and Horace Lake is, well, down here someplace.
Yeah, it doesn't look far. Just on the little locust map.
It's more than 150 feet.
More than 150 feet,
Yeah.
yeah.
When I bought the property, the title search showed nothing about it. I do know that.
And the easement is not located, per se. It's not, there's no establishment.
I don't know where it is.
Does this lady?
I don't know. Would you like me to read an email from her?
Sure.
Probably.
I'll let the chairman know. Let me read it. That way you see your name on top.
Chairman says, when I received the abutter certification letter from Chip Meany, I was understandably concerned about impacting the lake access described in my deed, and any changes to lot lines that might impact my right-of-way. Consequently, I stated my concerns via a letter to the town land use coordinator, which is this letter I assume that we have in front of us. Since that time, Chris Haig has sent me word that he has learned that the lake access and our lot line change is a non-issue for me. I live in Connecticut, but have vacationed in rural New Hampshire for many years. Chris Haig's willingness to share information with me has been gratefully received, and I look forward to meeting her in person one day. The deeded lake access, of course, is a selling point which I am unwilling to abandon. There's a couple other paragraphs in here that they're
Yeah, about selling her land. It's
right. He has no, he's not indicating on here that he has any idea where the easement is either.
no.
Greg, do you know
That-
where lot 10732, Ms. Lundgren's lot is? Lindgren's lot?
Oh, yes.
Could you show us?
About there on the locust map.
How does it abut your property?
Very strange shaped property. Yes, the property line goes over behind my house, keeps on going over behind another butter's house, Mr. Anderson. Then I got another 50-foot access that goes down and over, and she's abutting that other 50-foot access. Literally, it'd be clear over here at that scale.
So she's even further away from the lake.
Yes.
So,
She, if you know where Chris Haig lives, she owns around Chris Haig.
so tax map lot 10730 is yours,
Yes.
and that's the one that extends
Whole
far
area.
to the east.
Yes, east and south.
You said this was something like 150 feet. Is that in the deed? Could you
Yes.
Show us where that is.
In her deed, it says that.
Oh, I see, 150.
152 by 30, basically.
So it's gotta
And
be,
you can see I have the Shoreline Protection Act line shown here, and that's 250 feet from the lake. So if this is 250 feet from the lake, there's no way the 150 feet's gonna impact this lot.
So it's 30 by 150, so it's probably a little strip of land off of Beals Road that goes down to the lake.
And how would she have access to that?
Drive down
Drive
Abijah
down
Bridge
Beals
Road,
Road.
turn down Beals Road, and park her car and walk down to the lake.
I see
I was
the,
picturing this coming from a lot.
Oh, no,
No.
it can't.
No,
There's no way it can come from her lot.
it's probably a little 30-foot wide easement that got thrown in there down to the lake from Beal Road somewhere.
I actually own a 30-foot strip. About here. Also, it might be over that piece. I
That
don't
might
know.
even be the same
It might be.
easement she's talking
My
about.
deed doesn't say except for reserving it, but it was a quitclaim deed, so.
Yeah.
Another deed. I'm a land baron, Chip.
Taxman loves
It's one reason I'm doing this. But there's no way that this 30 by 150 foot easement affects my property. Because I'm not within 150 feet of the lake. It affects this property. I shouldn't say my property, but it
you.
affects
This
this
was
property.
more of a courtesy what was filed.
Yep. That's, center line's in the brook, so you've got a offset pin over there.
Yep.
Rebar.
43 and a half feet up, yes.
Yeah. You get this corner in here.
Yep. If you're looking for monuments, the only place there are not monuments is right here on this curve, because it's literally in the shoulder of the road and we get wiped out.
Yeah, I was looking for more than one at the corner where the brook goes down. Yeah, right in there.
Well, that's not a lot line anymore. There's a wall here.
Yeah, but that corner right there is, you created a corner there now instead of it being a straight line, right?
Yes, I did. You want me to put a drill hole in the end of the stone wall?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you want offset dimension or something to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
which stone wall is this?
Down here. Just the wall right here, you put a drill hole right here and then put offset dimension, because that's the middle of the brook. It's all,
I'll just put a drill hole in the end of the wall.
yeah, and then you show the offset
Yeah,
measurement.
and what the distance is from that.
You'd set anything down there, that brook gets pretty wild, it would get, Mother Nature would take care of it.
Probably would.
Chip, is there any problem with a lot line adjustment between two different zones?
All over.
Thank you.
The more restrictive it was.
So essentially makes this lot have to comply with RA rules instead of R.
Other way around.
Well, RA is more restrictive than R.
No.
Well, that's-
Is
Well, as
residential
far as
more
acreage, RA, you'd require 10 acres,
Right,
No, it doesn't. 5.
5 acres.
5. Lots of record, and he's got more than 5 acres.
Right.
Great.
But aren't these, is that a problem because these are dirt roads?
Five acres is
Five.
dirt.
Paved road.
Wildwood is dirt.
Wildwood is dirt
Private dirt.
Now, does the
with a
the
variance.
driveway coming in, not coming in off the frontage, is that clear? Well,
That's what he has a variance.
I got a variance.
oh, you got a variance.
It's in the package.
Note number 10 on the plan.
So you wanna, we'll do with the lot corner, have him write a letter that the pin's been set, and we'll record the plan once you get that letter.
No, I'll put it in the
He's gotta
plan.
put it on the
Put it
Mylar.
plan.
I'll put it in the plan before I print the Mylar.
Okay.
And you'll get to review it before you sign the Mylar.
I will.
I'll remind
It'll be here Monday night. Give me the weekend to set a drill hole.
you. Have a drill
And a hammer.
and an extension cord.
Is there a motion?
I think I understood what you were saying, and I think you're right. The more restrictive zoning is 5 acres, not 2.
Right. You're thinking the other way around.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, you're right, you're absolutely right. I move the application be accepted with the requirement that a drill hole be placed in the north-south wall, north of the brook. North-south stone wall, north of the brook.
Second? Seconded by Chuck. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
You mind if I open this window?
No one else has a problem.
It's warm enough to breathe.
Next on the agenda, site plan and a change of use at 530 Salt Stark Highway, map 411, lot 188, in the commercial zone. Mr. Francisco is representing the landowner here, so he's step down for this hearing also. This is for converting, I guess converting, right? But building that had no water and no septic system. It was essentially just a heated building, vacant heated building, to a RV body shop with a paint booth. As an extension of the Cold Springs Mechanical site plan building they just did last summer. We're in the process of building it now.
Long list of, call it restrictions, but I guess it is, you know, that's the last time I looked at it. For, well, what they were allowed to do or not to do, how they were gonna,
In this building?
yeah. It's the same building,
No, this was,
this is the
that
paint
buil-
shop building, right?
yeah, that building was built. When did you build that building?
Oh, 80s, 90s.
Early nineties, late eighties?
Late 80s, I think.
Yeah, this is that little shop that's out front, that where they sell the Christmas trees? Not they, but someone sold Christmas trees there.
Right, and we saw this the last meeting we had, right?
Kind of as a
Yes,
conceptual.
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 Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. Do you have the minutes of the discussion?
Chip may, I don't.
Well, ask him when he gets back. I think John did those minutes. Is there any abutters here for this hearing? No? Okay. Got the formal application checklist for a site plan.
He shows 2 spaces. Is that all he needs for 3 employees?
Look through the-
Five spaces. There's 3 more, it's kind of hard to see along the front.
Oh, right over the septic system.
Yes.
Got it.
I take it that septic system's now in?
Yes.
Looked like it was going in last week. Number 9, location of existing proposed sidewalks, driveways, and curb cuts, site distance, and access points. The applicant has not applicable.
I guess I should have checked yes and said not applicable for sidewalks.
Kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe sidewalks aren't applicable, but
Yeah, the rest of it is.
the rest of it sort of is.
And I shall too.
Yeah. But you got everything proposed on here. And he's showing where the pavement used to go, that he's. Proposed pavement.
Yes, we
He's
changed,
taking some out, adding some.
we changed that around a little bit from the conceptual.
Yeah.
Quite a bit, actually.
Aren't you increasing the impermeable space here?
Taking some out too.
The amount taken out is equal to the amount added
Yes, sir.
to the foot.
To the square foot, sir, yes.
Taking out this part, and adding this part.
Got it. And is the part that you're paving going to intrude further into the wetland?
It's gonna be closer to the wetland, yes. It's not gonna be in the wetland.
Will you be regrading the slope?
Let's get the checklist first.
Okay.
16, solid disposal. Number 16, Craig. The solid waste, there's not gonna be a dumpster there or any sort or anything?
I always thought solid waste disposal facilities was something worse than a dumpster. I was thinking like a landfill. Is there gonna be a dumpster?
No.
Good, no.
Which one do you want?
16. You're not proposing any signs.
You're using the dumpster on the building.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like he's asking for any waivers on anything. We'll hear a motion on the checklist.
You want to approve the application?
The checklist.
Accept the application. Oh, I don't have any.
You can approve it if you want to, Mr. Kirk.
Inadvertent use.
Good.
Yeah, we can
I understand.
accept the application is complete.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Greg, you want to explain it, please?
Well, again, I got a little color plan for you. The only change from the one you got in the packet is I put the septic approval in the front.
Thank you, sir.
So after the conceptual, a client decided that instead of trying to bring the two doors in the front like we discussed conceptually, he's gonna bring the driveway in the side.
Okay.
So instead of adding two doors here, he's gonna add one door back here.
Okay.
That's the reason for the green shows the proposed pavement.
Okay.
The red is the pavement to be removed, equal areas.
So there's no change in impermeable.
Correct. Actually, it'll probably be less impervious because there's a lot of compacted gravel under that proposed pavement now,
Which is
so.
essentially impervious now.
Right.
Right.
We also did a test pit, did a septic design, which is approved and installed, backfilled, the whole 9 yards. We need 5 parking spaces, so I put 2 in the front corner here, 3 parallel parking spaces in front of the building. As we said before, I've changed the notes around for the proposed use to hopefully better define it. Note 3, said the proposed use for recreational vehicle body shop to be used for minor body repair and painting. No retail activities are allowed in the building. Customers will not deliver or pick up the recreational vehicles. That's the main thing I changed, to be honest. I have provided, just to give you a general idea of the building, drawing of what size will fit those two doors.
These are the ones in the front?
No, side.
No, we're gonna be on the side. You switch them from the front to the side.
So the front of the building, you're not changing now.
Correct. Front stays the same.
Okay.
The two doors are gonna be over here. That's why we need this additional pavement.
And that one, the smaller door is there currently, you're not relocating that. The,
There was some discussion about making the front somewhat more attractive.
Well, that was, I assumed, directly related to the two garage doors that were gonna be in the front. But now we aren't doing that. The front stays the way it is.
Thank you.
I'd like to see the minutes. We started having a long discussion about it. We talked about the air makeup systems, talked about.
yeah, about the paint booth and where the vents are gonna go outside the building and all that.
Right.
Right.
And do we have minutes for that?
Somewhere in my computer, there are minutes for that.
Who took those minutes?
Either Neil or John.
Did you take them? Do you remember?
I don't
I
remember.
don't believe Neil was even here.
No, I think I was here.
Okay.
Let me see my phone. I might be able to find it, but.
The, so you're really relocating the paint booth now then, because it's gonna line up with this larger door, right?
Correct.
So the paint booth is now along the back wall of the building instead of the sidewall?
Questions that you guys asked last time, which we couldn't answer, were, on the booth, where exhaust walls stacked, where's that gonna go, what's it gonna look like?
Right.
And what happens is on this booth, looking at the building where the green is, that's on the left, the paint booth goes in that end. The exhaust stack is inside the building and goes up through the roof.
How's the ridge run in that building? The ridge runs,
They go, the rafters run this way and it can fit between, show you the rafters.
yeah, but does the ridge run like parallel with 114 or perpendicular to 114?
Oh, the roof line is parallel with it,
Okay, so anything going through the roof would be on the back side of the ridge.
correct. But there's probably a code from Chip as far as how high it's gotta be for exhaust, I don't know.
I was thinking you were exhausting out the back of the building last.
Yeah, that's what you mentioned,
But now it's going out the top. Because if I wasn't doing a pre-made spray booth, this is a truck booth I'm gonna buy, so it comes all pre-manufactured, and they all go up through the ceiling. And the reason for that is because it's OSHA compliant, National Fire Protection compliant, EPA compliant, filters are compliant, so I don't have any environmental issues, I don't have any OSHA concerns. Because to be compliant, it's 39 pages to be compliant.
You talked about the noise, and you said it was exhausting out the back. I think there's a house, a residential house, right across the street.
They're quiet, it's just it's an axial fan, it's just a fan. It only runs when the booth is in operation, which, when you're spraying, that's probably 5 or 10% of the hours that you put into the prep of body. So it's not, and it's not a production facility, 5 days a week of spray paint.
Right, I think it was, I don't know if you were being held to it, but you were talking about repairs only, right?
Spot repair,
Spot repair.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an industrial production facility where you're painting from 8 to 5 every day. It's not.
If you're gonna go up through the roof and the ridge is running there, they're not gonna be very visible from 114 anyway, because you have to look up over the ridge.
There'd just be a dome, with a galvanized dome. And that's the only change externally to the building, except for the one garage door being added.
Will that dome be visible from 114?
It depends on what the town guideline is for how high that stack's gotta be.
How about this lot? Does it have to go straight up, or can it offset to the ridge?
It's gotta go up. Because you gotta have, you can't contain anything in there, fumes, so it has to go straight. It's gotta vent straight.
Okay. I was just thinking if you could incorporate it into a cupola or something, to try to make it look a little better.
I mean, it's not a, it's just a round stack, so I don't think it's gonna be.
You don't have any idea where it exits the booth, or it's in the center of it?
Yeah, it is on the very back of the booth. So where the building is, it'll be on the very back.
Yeah, but it's, when you drive in, is it in the center?
Yeah, centered, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be about 15,
Yeah, I can kind of place it by this.
I'm gonna guesstimate 11 feet off the back wall. So say 49 feet in from the front. So it depends on the town code, which I don't know what that is, as far as the height goes, 'cause some go 1.5 times their, where it comes out, so I don't know what that is.
It'll be up to the fire department
Yeah, I'll have to ask
and
you.
OSHA.
Yep.
Stamp plan engineer.
Yep.
This, proposed pavement over the wetland buffer.
Yes. Over the existing gravel driveway that's there, yes. I didn't show the gravel driveway because there was snow on the ground and we were doing the survey.
I guess that's the confusing part.
Yes.
So it's not expanding on the existing gravel driveway at all.
No, we're not, no. Otherwise we'd be going down over the hill. We aren't gonna get down over that slope.
And that's what I'm seeing. Yeah.
So you're gonna pave that over with no additional fill?
I would assume we're gonna bring a little bit of fill in,
Yeah,
And
but
grade
it's
it.
not that it's sloping or something so that you're gonna be,
It kind of goes, it pitches what Craig and I talked about, the way it currently pitches. I'm gonna have to bring in a little bit of dirt to swale it, because we want to swale it and run it down to where that pavement is coming out, that little triangle,
We're hoping to have all the pavement drain
that way. Because right now it just runs off into the whole side.
To here.
shows Right there.
I know I don't really show that, but it's,
Is that existing, the new well you put in, it says existing here, but new well, was that in the gravel or was that in the lawn area?
that's in the gravel.
That whole area was gravel on that side.
Do you wanna show something about that being at the edge of the pavement? You wanna, like, loam and seed that? With,
Oh, we
with-
can, sure.
yeah.
The
Instead of
new
remaining
pavement.
that gravel area?
You mean loam and seed the areas that's outside the pavement?
Yeah.
Yep.
To the edge of the pavement, essentially. Then if you could show some directional arrows on here, Craig, on drainage on the pavement, how you're gonna slope the pavement.
Okay.
Going that, towards that, removal area.
Okay, I can do that. Yep.
And some of it obviously is gonna drain into that depression within the state right away, right?
Probably not.
There's a depression right in here.
Front of the building goes into the depression.
Right.
The left side right now runs completely off into the wetland. But if we put a swale in there all the way to that red spot there, the corner, that's actually a depression right now. That would be the lowest point.
I'm thinking if we grade it so it drains this way down towards the middle and grade this out.
So you're gonna create a little,
Little swale basically in the middle of the driveway. I mean, the existing pavement's gonna be all, by the time it gets done building this, the existing pavement's gonna be ripped up.
The edge
A
of
lot of it
that
already
green new pavement area,
Yes. We try to pull it back a little bit.
well, I was thinking about maybe a Cape Cod berm along the edge of it to keep the water from going into the wetland, so it forces it that way. You're doing some of that at your new
Yep.
place, right?
Yep.
And if they have to, the Cape Cod berm, if they gotta accidentally run into it, maneuvering an RV is not gonna hurt anything. It'll ride right over it.
I was just thinking about the winter time plowing, it's gonna get,
It's gonna be tough plowing that anyway, because
yes, it is.
with the well there, it's gonna be tough to push. They're gonna have to pull it out of there somehow.
Yeah,
Back a truck into the paint booth and
Snow's
plow
gonna go
out.
here and here.
Yeah. Just to keep any water from running across the pavement right into that.
You're just talking along this little area right here,
Right.
not here. Because that's where there's not, I would assume snow's gonna get pushed that way.
Yeah, if you come around the corner a little bit.
Okay.
Leave a little hole there to access the well and to push some snow into.
Around the battery.
Yeah, I know, it timed out on me too. Yeah, these times out. Really, minutes were vague. The minutes were typical meal minutes.
They were actually more.
Craig, on page 33 of the application, you say,
33.
well, that's what's at the bottom. Replacing, repairing recreational vehicle body parts, preparation for painting and painting. I assume that is preparation for repair and painting.
I would assume sanding and so forth is preparation for painting and painting.
But it says painting and painting.
Preparation for painting and painting.
Thank you.
I guess you put a comma, one of those Oxford commas in there maybe? Is that what those are?
No, it's fine the way it is.
Okay.
What would your hours of operation be?
He has it down here, 7 to 6. 7 to 6 Monday through Friday.
Saturday,
Sorry, through Saturday.
yes.
Where was that?
Note note 14 on the plan.
At the bottom of the top page, first page, right here.
Well, in the minutes, right, there were several things, and they may be on your plan somewhere, I don't know, okay, we'll have to read it. But you talked about excluding mechanical work and engine repairs.
I didn't put any exclusions down because in my opinion, you start excluding and it's a commercial zone, I should probably exclude beer sales and milk sales and egg sales and gasoline sales, and the exclusion list could go on and on. So that's why the note is worded that we're only gonna do minor body shop, minor body repair and painting. No,
Well,
re-
it was
no,
in those minutes, I mean, that being what it is,
well,
no retail,
yeah, I added no retail activities are allowed in this building.
no signage,
Not proposing any signage.
and no on the percentage of impervious.
And we talked about that and I made an equal swap. Note number, I can't find it now.
10 and 16 is this.
Well, the percentage didn't change.
Correct.
We talked about
We talked about the ventilation quite a bit coming out
the
to.
generator, you're not running generator, right? No. No contaminants in the exhaust. And then the phone went down. I think that was most. Well, the reason, I think the mechanical thing is, yeah, it's quite close to that house across the street, isn't it? mean, if you did actually get into mechanical work, it would be probably noisy.
He's probably, a couple hundred feet, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
having those overhead doors relocated to the side is gonna help, as opposed to the front, because
Technically, you'd have to come in for a change of use plan to do mechanical work anyway. Come back in again.
yeah, because it's not a listed use. Do you have one here with the body shop?
Nope.
These are minor body repair and painting. No retail activities are allowed in this building. Customers will not deliver or pick up their recreational vehicles. No, free.
My magnifying.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I gave Chip 7 big copies, so he could give you a bigger copy.
Actually, the one you brought is clearer than the ones.
And those copies go to the department heads for comment. And I believe they've ended up in the bathrooms of several buildings. They have not been returned.
We got some input from Conservation Commission, but their
Said
input
they
was
don't care,
no input.
no input.
Which note covers the new doors?
I didn't put anything about the doors. Now that you say that.
Could you, maybe just indicate on the plan where the overhead doors are on the building?
Yes.
And you've got one exterior light on there, you're not gonna put any exterior lights on the overhead door, Ken?
No.
No. See the DOT permit's pending, if you,
I talked to them the other day, and I should be getting that pretty soon. I talked to them on Tuesday, I believe it was, might have been Wednesday. It was Tuesday.
you comment about the corner clipping there?
Yeah, we're gonna get a letter from the abutting owner saying it's okay to do that.
That works for DOT?
Well, I sent them a draft letter, but I haven't heard back yet. They said it would be okay on the phone, but
Okay.
I don't have a permit in my hand, so I can't say for sure. If not, I'm sure we can get around it. Other method.
We got landscaping.
I got a whole list of things to add for the notes.
Okay. When do you think you'll have the DOT permit, any idea?
I would hope for early next week.
Can you wait for another meeting, or do you need?
I don't really wanna come to another meeting.
And that's something that they did.
I don't mind getting the conditional, whatever you gotta do, I don't need permission today, as long as I don't come to another meeting.
You're looking at really 4 conditions, I believe,
Uh,
maybe?
I had, additions to the note stating no exterior dumpster, loam and seed area abutting the new pavement. Show pavement slopes for drainage towards the pavement to be removed. The swale running into the northwest into that area. A Cape Cod berm on the newly paved area. no contaminants to be emitted in the exhaust. And indicate the location of the new doors on the northwest side. You have something else?
No, I think it was
There's nothing on the west side,
pretty much that.
it's north,
Northwest.
north.
That is the north side?
Yeah,
Um,
let's go.
I would say it's the
Northwest.
northwest side.
That's northwest.
That's already in
That's,
there.
that's on there, right there. The hours,
Hours are in there.
are there the hours on? Yeah, right there, okay, there's 14.
Hours of operation.
Yeah. And that, if you, note number 16, says the area of the pavement will be added is currently compacted gravel with no vegetation. You wanna somewhere add a note that where the pavement's being removed, or the, where the existing pavement is being removed, that be all, both those areas be
Loamed and seeded.
loamed and seeded.
And also that the area being paved is equal to or less than the areas having the pavement removed.
Yeah, it's kinda got the he's got the 270 square feet,
Oh, so we don't need that?
400 square feet, and 670 square feet, so he's got the math, I mean.
Never mind.
Also note 9, I have existing impervious on this portion of property, 122,700 square feet. Proposed impervious on this
You
portion of
covered it.
property, same thing, yes.
Thank you. Ready for motion?
I am.
I move that the application be approved, subject to the condition that the notes be changed as I indicated before. And I have that down, and I'll put it in the minutes.
Second? Seconded by Chuck. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
We won't be seeing you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's what goes in the minutes.
Okay.
As I'm doing it, everything's covered.
Monday come see you Monday or call you Monday or?
Yeah, Monday,
Oh yeah, I'll talk to you Monday.
tomorrow, probably not.
But then when I get the phone from the stuff on you, so I'm gonna go with your guidelines.
There was one in there. This is in the-
Whatever that's in
It's down in Riverdale.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, you know, but it does basically break down the guidelines that it has to meet for this and all that stuff, so. All right.
There's more people watching.
He was in
So I'll talk to you
for that
Yep.
conceptual
Oh, I remember.
last fall sometime, September or something.
Next item on the agenda is a non-residential site plan for Whitetail Commercial Development located at 24 Old Mill Road, map 412, lot 202. Don't see any waiver requests.
Chip, you haven't checked off,
Time was not permitting.
you had a chance since then?
No. Mr. Dahlberg has checked and it's there. Comment to necessity. Instead of building plans.
We will get that
Those are the big ones that may be required, that are automatically required. Yep, you're probably correct. Why stop there for the checklist, I don't know.
I don't see where any waivers are asked for or anything missing in the checklist.
That, second section of the checklist, items, what, 22 through 27?
Yes.
Those apply because there's a new building being proposed, right?
Yes, I do. I think everything's there.
That's what I was gonna look at, see if we. Some of the engineering reports and stuff like that.
The rest of this is items we can ask for, right?
Correct. Yeah. Right. Looks like number 24 might not be there, correct? French floor elevation.
Yeah, it is on page grading drainage utility plan, I don't know what she did with that up there. Page number cut off.
Oh, yeah, there they are.
The fourth or fifth sheet.
Yep.
So we have a motion that the application is complete.
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
And but not only is the application complete, but accepting.
That's it, yes, accepting is complete.
We discuss that?
Sure, we can discuss it.
What about on the application, number 22 through 27?
They are, they're there on pages. The applicant didn't check them, but they are there.
That's what I was,
Sheet, 4 shows all those things actually. Water, grading, finished floors, sewer, erosion controls on the next sheet.
yeah, the only thing that doesn't show is 27. Um, do you have the electric utilities on here anyway, Mike? Telephone, electric?
I didn't even see the electric, but typically Eversource will give it to you until you give it approval.
I know.
That is true. And because we're crossing under the resource easement,
They're gonna be underground.
we are gonna be underground, and we are, they have these plans. So once we get all that back, we will add. You are correct. We can't add that until it tells. We submitted concurrently to the planning board, PRLAC, shoreland, site-specific, and PSNH.
motion and a second. Let's try the vote again. Accepting the application is complete. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed 3-1.
Do you mind if I sit?
No, I do not mind
My
at all.
back, my
I
back's killing me
understand.
today.
A little health issue, a big health issue.
You wanna, move the microphone over? Is that taped to the floor?
I'll do that for you.
I'll stand.
You don't stand, just move.
I just can't stand for a long time because I got a pinched nerve, so you don't want me to fall down.
If you fall down, we'll lay the microphone down.
That works. So what my client proposes to do is to do a lot line adjustment, take 7 acres from map 402 lot 205 and consolidate it with map 402 lot 202, the existing developed commercial property.
Can you show
And-
me where that is, on which map you're referring to?
That is the, this is I guess it's a joint application, a dual application. It's a site plan and a lot line adjustment. I'm not sure, I presumed you guys were looking at both sets of applications.
Yes.
He'd like to see it on the
Do
plan.
you have any things, I guess, anything that specifically addresses the lot line adjustment?
Yep, here, we submitted lot line adjustment plans. I have reduced size copies here. Which shows the, I think you have them.
Yeah, I got it right in front of me, I guess. It's the same one, right?
What's the title of this?
They have everything.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
no, we don't have that. It's just titled different. It looks like the same plan, but this is.
Yeah, no, it's the same page, but it's a,
Same page, different title.
right. Basically, the westerly lot line of map 202, the common lot line 202 and 205 runs roughly down the easterly side of the power line easement. So everything that is north of the existing house roughly is gonna go with map 412 lot 202. So we leave a 2.1 acre lot with the existing residential use house and consolidate 7.4 acres, 7.3 acres with lot 202. And then we propose 4 commercial buildings on the resulting combined lot area on 412-202. And you have that 15 sheet set in front of you, which shows proposed access through the existing commercial lot and not on Riverdale Road for a variety of reasons. We have submitted to Shoreland, like I said before, and site-specific for erosion control. We have met with the PRLAC. I believe you have copies of their minutes. They wanted a few minor details. We have received our NHB back, the Natural Heritage Bureau. No hits on that. This is being reviewed by Fish and Game because of the proximity to the river. But I will say this, that the development is pretty much contained on a 3.2 acre section of that 7 acres. We're gonna leave about 3.25 acres natural state, undisturbed, unlogged. No wetlands impacts, no river impacts. Heavy buffer to the abutters on the other side of the river. It's a fairly compact site. We're not asking for any waivers or special exceptions. No variances are required, no dredge and fill permits. It's it's a larger site plan than most, but it's very well thought out and designed.
So to make sure I understand it, right now, lot 205
Yep.
does not have, is Lot 205 is part of this larger piece. This is all one lot currently,
Correct.
and you're going to divide this here, leaving 2 acres,
Yep,
and the remainder is going to be added to 202.
correct.
Is there a problem with respect to the driveway? The driveway that serves 203 and the house on there.
No.
There might be a little bit of issue with the grading with the site plan,
Well,
maybe.
we,
So with the lot line adjustment, no.
for the law line adjustment, no. There is a slight adjustment to that driveway and a regrading, but it shall be maintained. I mean, they have their rights. Gary owns the land, but they have the right to pass a repass. That won't be interrupted.
But aren't you going to be driving all the vehicles from the new area here back and forth across that driveway?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a problem?
I don't think so. It's wide
He
open.
has the rights to do it. Just because somebody has deeded access rights over your land doesn't mean you can't drive over it.
It's
But for the lot line
their
adjustment,
easement is not non-exclusive. I mean, they can use their land.
Yeah, this one, that goes back.
And it's my understanding from Chip that you're gonna have
Can't have any re-rating it.
Meridian review the plans.
No.
Okay.
if I can ask a few questions here.
Yep.
Basically,
Which map are you using?
I'm using sheet number, grading to utility plan.
So sheet number 4.
One that has all those stuff on it. Basically, you're coming off the existing parking lot, you're gonna be, I would like to see where the driveway is going to be in relation to the existing building. The one that was just approved a year and a half ago, whatever it was.
Well, we show the existing building. We show both
Wasn't there
existing.
parking in front of that building on the approved site plan?
No, there was not. There was, we had parking along the side and the rear of that building, and we showed potential future overflow parking in that area. But it wasn't required. I can pull that up and get you a copy.
Yeah.
But it wasn't required. We had addressed all the mandatory parking
Okay.
on the south and the east sides.
Okay, I was worried about people parking in front of that building and backing up into the access to this.
There's such a wide area of
It
pavement.
doesn't look that big when you drive down there and stop your car and look at it. It doesn't look that big when you drive down there and stop your car.
Oh, well,
And then you see the telephone pole and say, okay, you gotta be going right through here.
right.
Good.
The reason,
We can do a site walk later and look at all that kind of thing when we're there.
the reason for that alignment is, Eversource is incredibly protective of their poles for obvious reasons. And we can't grade, excessively within 50 feet of those poles.
50 feet?
Yeah. They're very picky. Well, we could move a pole, but it's
Yeah.
around $55,000-$60,000 per pole. So to put a little bend in that and slide that over, we can live with that.
Basically, you're going between the two poles though.
Yes,
Splitting the difference.
we have to. We can't. Well, we wanted to come straight off that little dog leg in the existing
yeah.
paving.
Right towards pole number
But-
3271.
Eversource is just, we're doing another project in Merrimack with them, and it's just too much.
Okay, so the driveway's coming off the existing pavement going up.
Right here.
I don't know what percentage it is, but it's not very steep.
No.
And then it's coming to a high point at the intersection of the existing driveway
Correct.
and sloping back down towards the development.
Correct.
So therefore, whether this was part of the reasoning or not, I assume you're trying to hit the existing grade at the intersection. But also all the runoff from the two the runoff from the roadway will not get into the driveway, that's what I'm trying to say.
That is
It's
correct.
the high point of the driveway.
That is correct. So the proposed road, proposed access way, it's not a road in the sense of a town road. Yeah, it won't be
There'll
affecting
be a hump going over top of the driveway.
the longevity of that. That's gonna be relatively flat through there.
From there on,
Yeah,
yes, I see that.
because we have a 322 and a 322 elevation, and a 321 or whatever. It's probably like a percent and a half.
Your intersection is 320, what? 323 or thereabouts,
Right,
and your buildings are all 320, 319, so you can't have, it's pretty flat.
and it's in the adjusted driveway grades are actually it's a better grade than what's out there today.
Do we have a plan profile on that driveway? Is that such a thing, a profile
There are profiles.
of the existing driveway?
I'm not
Maybe.
sure. I didn't look at that. We can
Profiles.
if you want to see one, we can add one.
I see a lot of drain pipe.
Yeah, I don't believe there's a driveway a profile because it's not going to be proposed as a town road. So if you think it's necessary, we can show it.
It would just make it very easy to see, for the abutters and us to see what change would be to that.
Yeah.
Put out a quick profile.
What's your biggest cut here, Mike? Looks like about 16 feet?
Yeah, that looks about right. Basically, we're gonna take that what is that knob and make a bowl.
Let's see a 338 contour.
It sits down quite a bit from the top of the hill.
You have any idea how much material is coming up?
I have not seen that calculation.
Are you in the aquifer protection, I assume?
The entire site is, yeah.
Pardon?
The entire property, everything over there is over the aquifer. So to that point, we have the design drainage in the detention basin, which has been designed to meet the town criteria and shoreline rules. And each catch basin has the dandy bags, the filter bag that takes out any oils or greases or anything like that. Which once, if this is approved and there's the SWIP and the maintenance program that needs to be followed, that would be written into, I would think there's a development agreement between the town and the developer, so that could be written in. Because there is a stormwater management plan that's attached to the shoreline and site-specific permits, which are made part of this application, which you have copies of. And the leach field design is the EnviroSeptic's. Pretty straightforward.
Looking at the same sheet grading utility plan, it shows basically 3 lights in the front of every building, 3 lights in the back, 1 on each side.
Yep,
But when you go to the lighting plan, well, I shouldn't say but, I should say when you go to the lighting plan, all the light from those windows is, all the light from those lights is basically contained within 25 feet of the building.
yes.
So there's not even, those lights not even be spilling over to the edge of the parking lot. I mean, there will be some light, but
It should be right on the edge. I spoke with Gary, and, we talked about having, light posts. We don't wanna illuminate the entire neighborhood in the river.
No. I hope not.
Well, the lighting design clearly shows, based on the design criteria in the ordinances, that, to the lot line, we're not having any light escape the site.
Well, I'm looking at the foot candle 0.0, 0.1 at the back of the parking lot.
Right.
So there's,
Well, it's one of those arguments where if you were in a high
at the same time, this is
density
all-
neighborhood, say Manchester, whatever, for crime, you'd probably want to do that, but there's one way in, one way out. I don't think we want to attract people to it, potentially. And with the river, there aren't four-wheelers and stuff that walk up and down the power lines. You know, there aren't people going by. They didn't think that the poles were necessary.
I do remember hearing some comments from the butters during the other meeting that people were running bikes and things out there. Was this who they were running?
I think that was four-wheel drive trucks and stuff that people work on after hours.
Oh, yes, that's right. These would be motion detected lights?
I don't know that for sure, but I can find out.
So it appears that the 150-foot woodland buffer from the shoreline is gonna be a little bit cut for the detention pond,
Correct.
and the back's the very edge of the parking lot probably. And that's it.
That is correct. According to the shoreline rules, we have to leave 30% of the area between the 50 and the 150 in a natural state, undisturbed natural state. And we're gonna leave, I would say approximately 80%, 85% of that area. So we exceed by a factor of 1.5, 2, nearly 2, that requirement. There's no disturbance within
Within the 50.
the 50 at all, period. There's no disturbance within 50 feet of any of the wetlands, and the 25-foot wetland setback buffer, pardon me, is not impacted at all for anything.
So the river's at roughly 306, 308,
Correct.
maybe a little lower, like top of bank.
On the low side, yeah.
Yes. And your top of your berm, your detention pond's gonna be roughly 10 feet higher, 316.
Correct.
So your finished floor's at 320, so how high's the building?
You have a set of building plans from Morton there. I think they're 16 or 17 feet high at the peak.
17 feet.
No, they're one story.
So it'd be pretty much where the top of that knob is now.
Yeah,
Would be your ridge,
yeah, roughly.
within a foot or so,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Is that enough? Does anyone get one?
I don't know, Neil put past it. 17 feet, where do we get the 17 feet?
Yeah, they don't show that one.
That's my recollection of the building height from the last one that Gary built, which is it's the same building.
These buildings are 106 feet long
Yep,
by 48 feet wide.
yep.
Well, I'm gonna, yeah, eventually. The way I'm getting this, I'm getting 16 feet to the eave, not to the peak.
Typically what these things are 16 feet to the E.
Right.
Yeah, that's, I guess that's the number, I don't recall.
That's usually my
And then
crude scale I've got in my hand here.
half of 48 is 24. So you're gonna get an 8-foot rise from the eave to the ridge.
So it's roughly 24 feet high.
Right.
No, they're not two-story buildings.
Simple math, 10 feet, 2 stories,
Well,
or 1 story, excuse me.
it's an open bay, so it's not truly a two-story building.
Wait a second, folks,
Yes,
we need to
we
focus
will
here.
have time to
We'll have
have
a
a-
public hearing.
So anyway, where I was trying to go is the river's roughly 306-ish.
Mike, there's a lot of reading material here, but are there any restrictions on what might occupy each lake?
Just what the zoning says.
So the river's at 306-ish, the top of your berm's at 316, thereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
So if the building's at 320 and it's 20 feet high, it's roughly 344, so the building peak is gonna be, I just lost the number,
Yeah, top of the ridge is like the little knob, and there was 336.
it's roughly 28 feet above the detention pond. I'm just trying to visualize what you're seeing from the river.
And three.
Of course, there is 120 or so feet of woods through there.
Mm-hmm. At the closest point.
Right, yeah, that's only that one spot, that's why I went to that detention pond. That's worst case scenario, if you go the other way, you're
24 feet.
a long ways away.
Yes.
Yes,
And it's
more than double
16
that.
feet to the eave, and then 40 feet wide, 4 pitch, 24, 2 times 4, so it's 8 feet high there, and there.
So the drainage is gonna go through what's gonna happen to the drainage on the very beginning of the driveway?
There's an existing leaching catch basin in front of the building that was built last year.
Okay, that's a leaching catch basin there?
Yes, that should say the existing leaching catch basin, and not just catch basin.
No,
So that minimal amount of drainage that runs that way now is still gonna head that way.
This is all gravel, sand and gravel.
It's all sand and
something like
gravel,
the multi-buildings on the industrial.
all of it.
So you're gonna have,
As long as
coming
it's
off that, is
allowed
the driveway gonna be
in the zone,
paved?
And they use the same.
Yes.
They don't do anything.
Yeah, so whatever water's coming off that driveway is gonna go onto
Just come to chip the
gravel,
building from-
probably never get to that leaching catch basin.
That's because they're adding on all the time.
Maybe in a heavy storm.
Yeah, somewhat.
Change the whole thing of the building.
So the water from inside the development is gonna be caught in a series of, I don't know, 8 or 10 catch basins.
It's an entirely closed system. There's no sheet runoff, no sheet flow.
Nothing's going outside the parking lot.
Nope.
Flowing off the parking lot.
No,
It's all flowing in.
correct.
Are all the abutting properties zoned commercial as well, you know?
Um,
Hopefully it's only residential.
The lot line adjustment plan shows the zoning of all the abutting properties. Everything across the river is residential. The only thing that's commercial is 412-202, 412-200. 412-204 is residential. The PSNH lot, which does not have a tax map number, is, I don't even know what's that is zoned, because the tax map is incorrect, so.
You said 204 is zoned commercial?
No, it's residential.
Oh, okay, that's what I see the, have the use that.
Everything across on the south side of Riverdale Road is also residential.
Spoken quite a while. Does anybody else have anything to add?
What kind of impact, well, first of all, what kind of businesses will occupy these buildings, and what kind of impact will the businesses, the employees, their customers have on residents in the area?
I can't answer that. I don't know what's going in there, whatever's allowed by zoning.
So you've got 4 buildings, and each one has, what, 5 businesses in it?
Yeah, well, no, just 5 bays. That doesn't mean each one will have 5 businesses. Some businesses may just take the whole building.
Right.
I really don't know.
Well, one concern is the impact of all of the, whatever activity there is on the neighborhood. And you don't have any idea what that's going to be.
No.
Does Mr. Remillard?
I can ask him.
I appreciate that.
How long do you think a site prep is gonna take before you get down to your subgrade?
I don't know. I don't run a dozer and an excavator. I don't know if there's a big demand for gravel right now. I would imagine that it's gonna take a month or 2. A month. All depends on who's gonna do the dirt work.
Would, I'm just thinking about how it worked over here for the self-storage buildings across from Line Cost Plaza. And the excess material they had was a lot less than what you're gonna have here. They didn't have a 16-foot cut anywhere.
I would like to see a volume calc of how much is it?
Yeah, I have a note on my plan here.
And you've got a proposed tree line here. I'd also like somehow, somewhere that proposed tree line stays, that they don't get carried away when they're making stockpiles or whatever. and-
I think if you look on the, one of the plans has the location of silt fence and snow fence for protection to keep the site work and clearing everything where it's supposed to be. So that will all have to, according to the shoreline rules, that's all gonna have to be staked. Located by the survey crew on the ground.
Page 5, I guess? Page 5?
Yeah, well,
Sheet 5.
the one, I guess, the controlling thing here is the shoreline rules are very comprehensive. What you can do, what you can't do.
Well, it's for
So,
the shoreland area, right, to 250 feet.
well, because because we have at least 1 square foot within the protected shoreline, the whole site is subject to the shoreline rules. So whatever we want to do in the non-shoreland area, we still have to comply with the shoreline rules. The fact that we have the septic within the 150 and 250 and the a small portion of the detention basin within the 150 is incidental to the shoreline application. This would have required a shoreline permit no matter what.
Did you encounter a water table doing the test pits? I didn't see it.
No. I don't believe they did. No.
Can we, I don't know if we, how to say this?
Sorry?
I don't know the best way to say this. I don't know if we,
Well, I thought you said phase it.
no, not phase. I'm thinking about, I mean, it's pretty coarse, grainy material right there. It's all 22C Bolton, right? 22
Mhm.
something. Liquid moves through it rather quickly. Yeah. The, like we're starting to do a B&B, we're trying to get people to do some water monitoring. Is there any way we could do a couple downstream from the site, you know, by the septic and over by the retention area? That's downstream from where, that's the way the water's gonna go. Couple monitoring wells or something to be able to keep an eye on things?
Like, we were proposing 4 individual wells as opposed to a common community system. Why can't we just test, if you're gonna go that route, just test the water well, the most downhill water well. There's one right next to the detention
I see one
basin.
right next to the detention, but, you got one at the toe of the slope there, it looks like, is that a well?
There's 4 wells.
Yeah, we got one kinda at the,
Go to sheet
looks
eight.
like at the toe of the slope right here.
Yep.
You talking about the one that's north of building 3? So to me?
Yes. The one closest to the septic system. Over by the, those two are really,
I would rather see the one by building 2. That's where all the water's gonna go to the detention pond.
Yes, that's the lowest point.
Yeah.
that one and that one.
Well, number 2.
Yeah. 'Cause that's how the water's.
Yeah, the bad supposed to be out of here and here.
Yeah.
No, that one should.
Those don't matter.
Right.
You want me to number those wells?
Yeah, could you please
Please,
That way when you,
refer to them, we can,
instead of saying wells near building 3
Yeah.
and 2.
yeah.
yeah, okay.
Would it be possible to limit the traffic, going out on Riverdale Road toward, 114? Rather than going on Riverdale Road around the property?
I mean, down Riverdale Road into Parker?
No, not that.
No, what I'm saying is you don't want trucks going that way. Or
Right. In other words, if all of the traffic going in and out of this site came off 114, that might be less problematic for abutters.
Well, I think that's the way people are gonna go anyways. I think that the condition of the roads, Riverdale Road, the connector from Riverdale Road to 114 is a nice road, wide. Coming up through Parker is not quite so much.
But you never can tell when the
Well,
town improves roads.
Well, I understand that. I don't know how you regulate 3 people on a free road. I mean, I don't know how you enforce that. I understand your point. I just don't know how you would have a mechanism in place to
Are you
make
worried
that
about truck
happen.
traffic, or are you worried about employee traffic,
I'm worried about
or traffic in general?
I'm worried about the peace and calm of the neighborhood being unreasonably interrupted or adversely affected by the increase in traffic, whether it's employees or trucks or anything else. And if there's a way to mitigate that impact by having all of the traffic go in and out, the least.
We could certainly add a no through trucking sign.
I was just gonna say, we can put a note on the plan for trucking, the excavation trucks and et cetera. And I think the delivery trucks, UPS, I mean, they, right, but the big trucks, they're not gonna go up Parker anyways.
Well, I'm not talking just about the.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not allowed to go to
I'm-
Target Station.
I'm not talking about the trucks for construction, I'm talking about whatever traffic goes on year after year after year.
I have no problem adding a note to the plans, the site plans, to say that truck traffic or whatever. I just don't know how you enforce it.
In that vein, I live near B&B Lane, which one would think coming off Gould Road is fairly flat. But in the summertime, there are some less than considerate people that pull in there with their trucks at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning with their Jake brake on.
Right.
Is there any way we could get the owner to put a sign that no Jake, it's flat enough, they don't need a Jake brake in there?
No, I agree with that. I don't,
They use it right on the flat.
Um,
Right down River.
And he could put a sign at the entrance to the site, ask the
yeah, I've
driver
seen
not to
those
use the Jake
before.
brakes.
Yeah. We can do that.
That would help a lot
Yeah.
for noise reduction.
You know, we can add a note that, you know, truck traffic shall be via,
I was thinking all construction vehicle and truck traffic to enter and exit the site via Riverdale Road to 114,
yeah, that's,
directly to
and
them.
then we can have a sign.
Something to that effect.
But that sign, if it's mandated by the board, it's not an advertising sign, right? So
It's a directional sign.
directional, it doesn't,
Right,
That
it
would
doesn't
be-
okay,
count.
I just want to make sure that we don't,
That's a directional sign, doesn't count,
yeah, no problem.
as long as there's nothing else on it.
That's for that. We got notes from people. Conservation Commission. Email to, me. So it says, hi Chip. Couple things to bear in mind. One, the natural resource inventory shows as moderately high co-occurrence. 4, indicating high habitat value in the area, which you said they came back, natural heritage.
The natural heritage came back 0. We're still waiting on the Fish and Game. Imperial LAC was also concerned with that. But having been on the Conservation Commission for 4 years and helped work through the co-occurrence natural heritage inventory of the town, you can have a site like this that has the forest and adjacent to the waterway.
Yep.
That has the potential high rates of co-occurrence of, you know, amphibians and the like, but there are no vernal pools. It's extremely excessively well-drained soil. That's not conducive to lots of wildlife. But we'll wait until the Fish and Game comes back. But again, we're not touching any wetlands, not even close to any wetlands, any wetland buffers. And the closest regrading, which is gonna end up being loam and seed, is the top of the berm for the detention basin. Everything else is left in the natural state. So having been on site, on several site walks before it was logged, I'll tell you, there's nothing on top of that hill. And if there is anything, it's by the river, and we're not touching any of that. So,
Well, the heritage and Fish and Game will
they
do
will,
that anyway.
they will.
The other concern they had,
All slopes are gonna be, loamed and,
Yes,
yeah.
per the shoreland rules and the grading and drainage and erosion control plan, yes.
Conservation Commission also had a concern about the amount of impervious to be created next to the river and concentrating the stormwater discharge to one location, which I don't see myself, but
Again, well, the shoreline rules,
Follow shoreland rules and the stormwater.
right, it's a closed system, the dandy bags. There is a,
There's not, they said there's not an impervious created next to the river. I don't see that part.
we really,
There is one discharge point, but in this soil, I assume you have a huge perk rate going through that detention basin.
that is correct.
Saying there's,
It won't even hold water, I mean, if it does hold water, it's just for a very brief period.
just as a footnote, remember that wicked storm we had, the big melt we had, a month and a half ago? When it was raining and we had all the snow?
Mm-hmm.
Safely stored pond beside 114, didn't have any water coming into it or out of it. It soaked up before they got the pond.
Yeah, this is essentially the same soil.
Yeah, it's roughly the same soil, though. I still have to look at that one. The Schaghticoke River Local Advisory Committee sent us the minutes. Basically, it's saying Mike Dahlberg presented a plan to PRLAC, reviewed conceptual plans dated in August 2017, plan review today are final design. The following comments resulted from the review. Wildlife-friendly erosion control material should be used. Any plantings, including grass cover, should be native species. The plan should show the excuse me, non-alterated state land area, 25,430 square feet. Because maintenance of the storm drainage system is critical to ensuring it provides the protection which is designed, Mike Dahlberg agreed to forward PERLAC the document that incorporates the system maintenance plan. And Mike also agreed to send some information about EnviroSeptic wastewater treatment. And the fire department. On behalf of the Board of Fire Wards, I'm Rain, giving reference to the non-resident site plan, known as Whitetail Coastal Development. As stated in the site plan regulations, one of the purposes of the regulation is to guard against such conditions that would involve danger or injury to health, safety, or prosperity by reason of inadequate provision for fire safety, prevention, and control. In review of the plans, it remains unclear as to how the applicant intends to meet the provisions of an adequate water supply capable of supplying the required fire flow for fire protection as referenced in NFPA 1. Absent from the plans is any reference to the location and distance to any existing cistern, existing or proposed fire system or fire plant. The fire wards believe that no adequate or reliable water distribution system exists within the area. The board asks for the applicant to provide details as to how the required fire flow will be obtained. As more than one method to meeting the required flow is acceptable, the board remains willing to discuss alternatives with the applicant. I suggest you get a hold of fire wards. That was signed by Chief Zeno.
Yeah.
Who's this from?
Holy,
How am I supposed to know that?
there should be a little check mark up there where it was sent. Oh, and he signed it. That's his signature on the bottom.
Okay,
That's how important people sign it.
that's what I signed my thing, not quite that bad. Recommend signage installation delineating private drive, also traffic control signs, pavement markings at egress to public ways. The only problem is, you know, egressing into a public way, you're egressing into a private way.
Wendy is drawn on that.
I didn't think so.
Yes.
Fire. Conservation. Chips. Right, this is from conservation. And the PLC.
I'll read all a couple of times. I'll read these one first. Got one more to go. Then we'll have the public.
Neil, for your records, there's the public.
Thank you. And from the assessing. Good Lord. The 4 new buildings require a named driveway per 911 addressing standards. There'll be a 90-degree turn from Old Mill driveway to go between the buildings at number 16 and 24, which is a turn, not a curve. The configuration shown on the submitted plan is considered an intersecting road, hence this driveway. It will have to be named driveway per E911 standards. The entrance and exit into the new area where the 4 buildings are proposed also crosses the existing driveway for the 2 houses on map 412, lot 203. Should there be a stop signs at the 2 intersecting driveways, the one off Old Mill and the other off the intersection of the new driveway crosses the gravel driveway. The potential for users to use the gravel driveway off Riverdale Road could increase traffic on the gravel driveway unintentionally. Should the gravel driveway off Riverdale Road be posted somehow to alleviate traffic from entering the area for the newly proposed area of 4 buildings? Wendy Rice.
That's the same thing that the police recommend.
Mike,
She also has an email from Kenny Lynn Dempsey. Dempsey at e911.nh.gov, wherever that is. Maybe it says at the end. Division of Emergency Services and Communications.
Just want to get the date on.
March 20th. Dear Wendy, or good afternoon, Wendy. I took a look at the site plan and developed plan located off Old Mill Road. It is my understanding that the access for the new buildings will be off Old Mill between 16 and 17 and travel easterly direction. Option 1, if that is the case, we would make the recommendation to name the new private road that provides access to the new buildings. Each building would be addressed from the newly named road using 50-foot address increments. The buildings on the right would have even, building on the left have odd.
You know, it's a circular access, I'm not sure what's left and what's right, but I'll let them tell me what numbers they want.
Mike, would vehicles use the driveway, the gravel driveway?
No, that's a private road, that's not even on our property there.
I think
And
I would talk to.
I'm a little reluctant to say we could put a private driveway sign on Public Service Company of New Hampshire property.
They would have an easement, right?
The Rices do, yes. It's
No,
not us.
Public
Public
service.
Services has easement too.
That's Public Service Company's land. And where the Rice driveway meets Riverdale Road, that's over Public Service Company land. It didn't used to be Public Service Company land. The easement, the right to pass or repass was granted before that was sold to PSNH.
Oh, that lot.
The lot out back, 412-203, was created before Public Service Company got that parallelogram
Mm-hmm.
parcel. They were gonna build a substation there, they just never did. But there is a deed, they bought it in fee, there is a description. But the driveway, the Rice driveway to lot 203 was in place long before that was sold to PSNH. So it being PSNH property, I'm not sure we can put a sign there. We could buy a sign and
You
give
could
it
put it
to
in the town
Rices.
right away section.
If the selectmen allow it, I guess. Put it right at the right-of-way line.
I think if I would suggest you talk to Kenny Lynn Dempsey.
If I can get a copy of that, we'd be glad to.
You can have copies of all this. Personally, I think a new road name is kind of, I don't know. Yeah, something I wouldn't have thought of. Because I would just think you'd have addresses off Old Mill and it's a driveway.
Oil mill, yeah.
Why wouldn't you just call it all oil mill? But as long as the fire department knows.
This is our good old New Hampshire government at work.
Well, what did the
Division
fire
of
department
Emergency
say?
Services and Communications in Laconia, so.
Is there a reason, Mike, why you didn't just put the septic system in the middle between all the buildings?
Yes. Trucks. Freezing. It's all gonna be open. And
That whole area is gonna be,
they don't, the enviros, I don't believe, do well under H20 loading. If you ask Presby, they say, well, you designed it, there's a spec someplace, they won't back it up. We don't wanna use a stone and pipe, because stone and pipe is frankly archaic, doesn't really work well in terms of treatment. Works well in terms of drainage, but not treatment.
You want your nose?
We just wanted to have a remote system that's not gonna be impacted by,
That's why you pay me extra.
truck weight.
Mike, am I given to understand that the oil mill road will be the major access to this?
Well, the private way that provides access to Gary's existing buildings,
Yeah?
and then, what is that, Granite State Plumbing and Heating? Because there are three buildings now off of one right-of-way access point, the town renamed that Oil Mill Road, or private way.
That's the road that's the road expected to use though.
Yes,
Now, when you come out of Oil Mill Road, old 114 is there.
correct.
The state must own right back to the new 114, right? Must be a right of way across there too, the state of New Hampshire.
Yeah, the state would have purchased that strip of road or right away to connect.
I don't know if that's something that would work better for folks or not.
Well, we wanted to use the existing access so that the traffic patterns in the neighborhood that everyone's used to stays the same. Patterns, I didn't say intensity, I said patterns. We could put a driveway right across next to Palmer's lot 204, and come out onto Riverdale Road with a private driveway, but the headlights would be looking right into Mr. Gilman's house, as though I have that name correct. We don't want to do that.
plus they're gonna turn out, and there's a little hill right there, they gotta go up right away.
I mean, it's a private way, you could make that work, but we don't want to do that. That's just, it's,
Well, but I see that now on the plan, it's 100-foot right of way the state owns.
yes, it
And
is,
it goes right back to 114,
It does.
114.
it
It
does.
does go out though, this end is shut off.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
well-
cut off, yeah.
Cut off, but it connects.
Well, no, if you bang a right out of the driveway here, it dead ends.
Yeah, that doesn't connect.
There's no access to 114 there.
There's no ownership. I mean, they had to, at one time, own that.
The original 114 has been there, what was the Mass Road, right, since colonial times. The earliest plan we found was the 20s, and that was an improvement plan, so the road was already there. They redid it in the 50s, when they came out of Goffstown. And in fact, what is map 412-201 was the old one-room schoolhouse. 114, you'll see an arced line on the lot line adjustment plan, a dashed line. That's the old limits of the 114. So when they built the new 114, they made that connector. They straightened the old 114 out, dead ended it up short of Houghton's.
Right, but originally, right by Holton's house.
It went right by Houghton's house, and it went up over the hill
Right.
by your brother's house.
Yeah.
But when they redid it in the 50s,
And
They-
gave up-
they
and
put that
gave up
big curve.
The ownership of that.
they did.
Oh, okay.
They did. They took that in fee.
Okay.
Let's open up to the public. I assume somebody wants to speak. Please come to the podium. State your name and address, please, so wonderful secretary can get it.
Vicky Rice, 387, 385 Riverdale Road. That's my driveway that is going to be affecting my right-of-way, I guess I should call it. I have a lot of concerns, and I would like to know how they're going to come from the pit up into that driveway. I mean, is it going to be like a big hump? Is it going to be a gradual?
I'll let, we're not supposed to talk directly, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
your question's gonna be.
Okay, sorry.
Vote the board.
What
What was your question again, when you come out of the existing?
What I'm wanting to know is when they come up from the pit,
The pit being.
well, Remolard's, I don't know what the lot
Existing
number.
commercial buildings?
Yeah, there you
Yes,
go.
okay.
Because they're going to, there's a grade where it just cuts off
It's
down
gonna-
into
It's
their,
gonna come up about 5 or 6 feet and then go back down again, slightly back down. So there's gonna be a hump, it's then level down, going to the new
but
development.
from their ground to the top of where our driveway is more than 5 feet.
Yeah, they're gonna, I'll let them answer, sorry.
Yes, they're gonna regrade your driveway as well. That's why I asked for the driveway profile earlier.
So
Okay,
they're gonna
so I-
make it lower, they're gonna make it higher,
It's
because,
hard to tell, I think it's gonna be a little higher at the intersection.
okay,
Mr. Chairman, let me do this. I will
Yes.
get you the driveway profile, and then I will color up a copy and I'll mail it to you. And we can actually, at some point, we're gonna have a sidewalk,
Yes.
I would believe. So we're gonna be right there. We can kind of show you.
yeah, if you let me know ahead of time, then
Yeah, yeah.
I would,
It'll be scheduled
definitely.
It'll be
shortly.
scheduled tonight, right?
I hope.
Okay, so I'll get information on that. My next issue is noise buffer. What are the, is there going to be any type of shrubberies or something to block the noise? Right at the moment, when we look out my mother's window now, they've cut all the trees there, so we see nothing but all trees cut down, and then the amount that they were supposed to leave to the river. And from what I could see of that plan, they were not putting a building there, so I'm not sure why all those were cut down. But now, like I said, we look out my mother's window, and all we see is stripped land. So I'm wanting to know if there's going to be some sort of a noise buffer, site buffer, so that we can not have to look out and see.
How about if we address that in the site walk too? That way we can see what you're talking about.
Okay,
It's easier to see than try to point in the map and
right. How is the road going to be built? I'm going to get information on that. So there's no time frame of when this is all going to start, when the construction's going to start. That's all based on when this is all
it's
approved?
certainly not gonna start until we approve it, that's for sure.
Okay,
I don't know when the timetable will be.
okay.
I would assume this summer sometime, but I don't know that.
Maintenance of the road, we've lived there since 1976. We have maintained that driveway the entire time. I want to know what is going to happen when we have snow. Are they going to plow up over their section, leave these two big humps in the road, go into their area, plow that, and then we're going to have to plow through that and through the other side to get out? How is the maintenance of the driveway going to be addressed? And what part of the driveway is going to be paved?
Okay,
And then I have the concern of how they are going to keep it so that I can get in and out to go to work, how I can get in and out to get my granddaughter off and on the bus, how we can get emergency equipment in there if we need to, fire equipment in there if we need to. if they're digging up the driveway or the right-of-way to do what they have to do, how am I gonna get in? How am I gonna get out? I have somebody living with us that has heart issues. What if he needs an ambulance? Sorry, you're gonna have to wait till I fill this hole so you can get into the driveway. That's another concern.
No. Yes. I know that sounds, it sounds strange, but while the emergency access is a big deal, and I agree 100%, you need access 24/7. Construction people do that all the time. I mean, if he has the right contractor, it's gonna cost more to get it done right.
Well, there's no guarantee that he'll have the right contractor.
That'd
But
be-
that's my concern. I wanna know how that's gonna be addressed.
Okay.
So that
No
when
problem.
they're hauling in beams, when they're pulling out all the gravel that's coming out of there,
Want to rebuild your driveway?
you know, are they gonna, okay, she's left for work. Shit, hurry up and get this done so that, you know, by 5 o'clock, it can be filled back in again. Well, my daughter's there. My granddaughter gets on and off the bus. My husband works 6 to 2. My mother will be back. She's in Florida, the lucky, you know what? So there's people in and out all the time. So that's my concern, is making sure that I'm not having to wait for something to get put back together to get in or get out.
Understandable.
Let's see. And as far as the maintenance of the end of the driveway, I do not see that every single person that comes in there to that site is gonna go down into the pit around to 114. They're gonna come out and they're gonna bolt right down the end of the driveway. I just don't see how that would be able to, how they can make sure that that happens just by saying on a piece of paper, don't go down the driveway. I mean, you can't put a gate because it's not a, well, you could, because then public service still could be able to get in. If you put a hand gate, not something that you have to have a key to or a pad to unlock. But if there was maybe a gate there, so that anybody other than the people that live in my house and my mother's house and family coming in and out can use that part of the driveway, and the other people go down into the, I call it the pit. It's been the pit since we've been there. Do we know, we don't know the hours of operation, when they're gonna be opening, when they're gonna be closing, what the, as far as time frame?
You mean construction schedule or?
Well, construction
Daily operation.
schedule and just regular daily operation after that.
Land notes say Monday through Friday, 6 to 10, Saturday, 8 to 5.
6 to 10 at night.
Yeah,
6 to-
6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
That's a little bit
Saturday,
of,
8 to 5.
that's a little bit, I think that's a little bit much. I have a granddaughter that goes to bed at 7:30.
I go to bed shortly after that.
It's past my bedtime right now. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I would be a little perturbed if I heard tractors and, you know, trucks, and the other facility that he has, they don't work that late. So I don't know why it has to be from 6 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. I don't know if anybody else agrees.
I agree.
Whoa.
Let's see, at the end of the driveway. And I had another concern about the dust. If they're running trucks in and out, the road's gonna get dusty. Is there any type of,
During construction, it'll get dusty.
right, watering down the area? If we
Yes,
happen to have a real dry summer and there's no rain, and every time a truck comes in and out, it's blowing up dust?
We have not looked at these plans in detail. We do have another engineer look at them, and I know dust control is typically one of the construction notes
Okay.
in here.
And I wanted to ask him a question, what he meant by, when they were walking the property and they seen nothing on the property, was that referring to animals? You see no evidence of,
I assume he was meaning some, what's the word I want, endangered, threatened species.
because there was animals there.
Lots of animals.
There was deer, there was foxes that we had down there. There was a flock of turkeys that lived there for a while. We've had moose. We don't have anything anymore. I haven't seen a deer since they stripped that property.
Agreed. I used to see
No,
it here
it's-
all the
but You
time.
get your own time.
All right, I'm just,
But I was just wondering if that's what he meant, was that he didn't see evidence of
I
wildlife,
assume you mean the threatened endangered species, because that's what most of the
threatened
fishing game
endangered
is.
species?
Yes. Landings, turtles, hognose snakes, and some other things like
Oh,
that.
there's snapping turtles. They're not very
Well, not-
common.
Not snapping turtles.
All right, let me see if I got all my check marks here. So we will find out tonight when the site walk will be?
I will get a schedule that after you get done talking before everybody else talks, then we'll go back to everybody else.
Okay. So all the questions that I asked, I'm assuming at some point I'll get an answer? Or are they
Yes.
just out there and they
No.
blow in the wind?
Nope. I wrote 9 points down here. And I
Okay,
know Neil's scribbling like crazy too.
okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to know,
Most of
so,
those will be able to be answered at the sidewalk. And since
Okay.
we haven't heard your question yet, we can't
well, obviously, yep,
give the applicant a chance to address them.
right. All right, I guess, you know, my property's still for sale if anybody's interested in buying it.
Hey, ask Mr. Remillard, maybe he's one of
Yeah, he was,
I'm kidding.
please, we like our neighborhood.
I don't like my neighborhood anymore.
Thank you. When would anybody want to do a sidewalk?
Well, I work from 8:30 to 5. Oh, sorry. That's your second one?
Sorry. Members of the board, when would be a good time for a sidewalk?
Not Saturday.
Well,
A Saturday.
Yeah, I don't want to do it this Saturday, that won't be around this Saturday. There's no huge hurry to do it. Maureen's got more,
Well, except April's fishing season. So March 31st would be a good time. That's a Saturday.
I'll probably should do it on a Saturday, so folks.
Yeah, we do. Let me ask that question first. Would Saturday be better than a weekend evening?
Alternate.
Okay.
I'm going to Florida the 6th and won't be back until the 14th, so. I would like to not miss
31st
it.
works.
March 31st then, that's fine.
What time? Earlier rather than later.
I like it to warm up a little bit, if it's chilly out.
That's what I was thinking.
Like 10 maybe? Bad time, Neil?
Well, I don't know what other things are going to be going on then, so I like to do it earlier in the morning, but how about 9?
9 works for me.
Okay.
And you said the March 31st, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And that will be posted on the bulletin board out here and down at the post office.
How about if we meet in front of that building, the one that was recently built? That way we can all drive in Old Mill, or at the end of it, you know what I mean? Not necessarily in front of it. I mean, I realize there's customers or clients there, but
The new Remillard built
in
last
that
year.
Is
general
that
area.
number 24?
The new Remillard built last year. The first one.
I don't know, the plans don't give me addresses.
Green.
The first building on the right.
I do
What do you
believe
write it?
that that's where his office is, and his office address is here, and I think it's 24. Get the first page.
24.
The rest of my case.
Drive down Oil Mill, first building on the right. Anybody else like to speak? Come up to the podium, state your name and address, please, for the record.
By myself?
And folks, if what you want to do is repeat what she said,
No.
just say ditto. Okay.
Well, I'm Dale Gilman. I live at 394 Riverdale Road, which is right across the street from the entire project. And my first question is, does it even matter how we feel about this? Or do we have any say about what's going on?
Yes.
So, I mean, because I actually came up and spoke to Chip after the property was sold to Remillard and asked him, and he assured me that I wouldn't even know there was anything going on over there. That whatever was projected was, I believe it was a parking lot.
And that's what it was at that particular
And
time.
it was a matter of weeks. They clear cut everything. And because you said, I wouldn't even see it. What?
He's allowed to do that.
But you didn't tell me. You told me I wasn't.
He doesn't tell me.
But why did you? I mean, I just don't understand where I'm giving this lip service that I wasn't going to see anything.
At that time, he was not planning on doing anything.
No.
Wow. Well, he did. So I mean, that's. I don't know.
Everybody has the right to clear cut their property without notifying anybody.
Really? Well, you know
That
what?
does
And I
not
was
go through
told
the
that
that
I
does
wasn't
not
even going to
go
see.
through
That's
the
what I didn't
building
know. Like I said, it's
Anyway, we're talking about this application tonight.
absolutely. And I say from my house, it's like all I see now is like I said, it's just clear cut, and it just looks awful, and it's affected my property. I'm sure my value has gone down because now I've got this big industrial park going across the street, which used to be a lovely area, and it's. And then, like I said, the noises, I mean, ditto as far as the noise is going to be an issue. I mean, on my side as well, there's no trees. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see these buildings. I have no idea. I'm not sure, like, I guess the site walk is going to help us know where things are going to be. But, I mean, that's my big concern is do we have a say about this even going in? Because the only commercial property is this commercial property. Everything else is residential. There's houses all the way around.
There's certain rights that you have, there's certain rights the developer has per the town zoning.
What are our rights?
Your-
And he talks about zoning is like what's zoned can go in there. What can go in there? I have no idea what kind of businesses can even be in our neighborhood. But I do have to agree with Vicky. It's like neighborhood has gone down. It's like I don't even really want my house anymore. Like my family's owned that building for 80 years, and now our neighborhood is just it's ugly.
In the commercial zone, well, it starts out saying any use permitted in a rural agricultural district and a residential district, but that's mostly residential. You can do public utility services, transformers, etc., agriculture, boarding and rooming houses, tourist courts, homes including cabins and motels and accessory structures, retail and service establishments, including but not limited to grocery, drugstore, general merchandise, furniture, apparel, specialty goods, tobacco,
Pretty
newspapers,
much anything.
books, gifts, flowers, barber shop, beauty shop, shoe repair, laundry pickup services,
Wow.
laundromat, restaurants, indoor recreation facilities, and other similar uses, office establishments, motor vehicle and equipment sales and service, excluding junkyards. That's what you're allowed to do.
Okay. You have anything you want?
I'm Sheila Cleveland, 368, 370 Riverdale
done?
Road, and
I'm done.
Okay,
and my husband, Chip Cleveland.
so we'll go back. What was your name again?
Sheila Cleveland,
And you are where?
368, 370 Riverdale Road.
I think it's lot 211 is yours.
Oh, I don't know which lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as the traffic goes, we already have like 18-wheelers going by and dealing with that traffic and noise. And we like to consider ourselves a residential neighborhood. And not knowing what's going in these buildings is another concern. What's going to be going on, and the timing is as well of 10 o'clock at night till, and even on Saturdays to disturb our neighbors. Is there any way another access road could be made out to 114 down Riverdale Road? Not, because you can't go down Parker Station, they don't allow trucks.
Right.
And down on our little stretch of road, trucks will scream by, pickup trucks from the industrial park that's down there now. I walk my dogs, my neighbors will be here till next time, they walk their dogs, screaming right by and it says 30 miles an hour, well, nobody pays attention to the signs on that road. So, nor the stop signs. So, can you please check in to see if there's another access road as far as going out to 114?
Like you were talking about.
Like
I don't know if they can.
Mr. Bolton was talking about. Well, we've put up with a lot of traffic, truck traffic from the industrial park. And we've been there for 36 years, so.
Yeah, your truck traffic is from the Goffstown, as you know.
Because they can't go to Goffstown.
Goffstown closed them off,
Yep,
so they have to go through there.
exactly. Yep. That is it. And that is it for now.
Thank you. Should we ask for anybody else? Yes, he's here.
My name is Kyle Cleveland of 368 Riverdale Road. Much of Riverdale gets water from an aquifer underneath most of the neighborhood, and I was curious if there has been any type of research into what effect this site will have onto water consumption, where more increasingly during the summertime, some residents have been having to be more conscious of their water usage, and looking forward, it's something that should not have to be tolerated by residents when everybody's drinking from essentially the same source of water.
I know you're over top of an aquifer, that's for sure. Has any testing been done? I don't know. I doubt it.
Is it possible for any testing to be done as far as what the consumption is, or are there any plans as far as what the water usage will become?
Without knowing exact use, it's pretty hard to determine that. I can say that from a DES's standpoint, a 4-bedroom house uses 600 gallons a day. That's what the septic system is designed for. Trying to find a septic design to tell you how many gallons a day. Haven't quite got there yet.
Fair enough. I don't mean to put you on the spot with this, but it would just be nice to have at least an
Well, I
idea
can tell you
for.
a number.
I don't think the number was there, Craig.
On sheet 9, the upper right-hand corner is the daily design flow, based on DES rules for dry goods commercial businesses. It's only 720 gallons a day for all 4 buildings.
So you're talking about like a
It's essentially another house being added on.
Right.
Thank you.
Basically, yeah.
Anybody else?
David Nelson, I live in 10 River Road, down in the village overlooking it. And my concern was, I didn't know exactly if you had figured out the height of the buildings, how much we were gonna be able to see from down in the village, looking up over there. You know, they say they're gonna be 17 feet, that's to the eaves, and now you say another 8 feet, so you're talking 20 some odd feet, so we're gonna be looking at the caps of the buildings. Is there any way you could limit the size of the heights of the building so it drops them down so that they're not an eyesore to everybody?
Well, what I don't know right now.
Because they're designing all of them with these large overhead doors
Yes.
for large trucks, exactly. Every one of them has got a bay.
Right. There is a wooded buffer, depending on where you're at on the river.
I'm almost across the street from, I'm the second house in on River Road.
Yeah.
Right on a diagonal, I can overlook right over to it.
These are, if you got on page 1, where
Chuck, you know right where I live.
Exactly.
where Tom Stamp is down here.
Same place I've been for 57 years.
The river's here, the road's over here, he's down here.
Okay, so he's looking over the detention pond.
Right.
So you're gonna have roughly 100 feet of woods between the river and the clearing.
But you don't realize the woods are not
Oh, I
low
understand.
woods. You've
Besides
got,
that, trees grow up and they change. In 20
those are
years,
pine trees, big pine trees. They don't, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's it.
It's the castles at the top.
Right.
You know, you're not hiding anything. It's you're looking at the trunk of the tree. You know, and a lot of it is like bare ground. You'll see when you take the sidewalk, it's quite deceiving from what they say on paper.
Can you explain
Mike,
what
we-
noise we get?
Mike, when we do the site walk, is it possible for you to erect a stick or something, the height, and a red flag or something like that at the height of the stick so that we can see visually how the height of the building will be visible from this gentleman's house or wherever?
Shouldn't have to be a very tall stick, because you put it on top of that little knob.
Right, I'm sure we can.
Thank you.
It's just gonna be 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing that I was concerned about was, it's ditto, was the noise factor echoing down the river, down into the neighborhood, down below. Who wants to hear it at 10 o'clock at night? And where there is no noise ordinance in the town of Weare, who's gonna police that when you've got, you may end up in a fiasco like you had on Gould Road with Jerry Haynes with a grinding operation out there grinding. You said you were in B&B Lane, you know what it was like. We don't wanna have that down there. And then have to fight battles like that.
You were worried about an exhaust fan, one of the things. This is gonna be a
Okay,
lot
thank you
worse.
for your time.
Thank you.
Hey, one thing that everybody knows is sitting here, it's a poor place for an industrial or commercial operation. But the zoning is what led to it.
Yes, exactly. Oh, yes, I agree. But it's just, can you downsize the size of the building so they don't stick out like a sore thumb?
Does he have to have so many buildings
It's
there?
poor designing on the town's part to zone that as commercial land.
Absolutely.
That was very poor designing, years ago. They should have changed that.
Anybody else like to speak? Hearing no other thing, we'll close the public hearing.
Thank you all for coming.
Yes, thank you. And
Thank you for listening.
sidewalk on March, whatever I said.
We'll see you at the site walk.
So anybody can come to the sidewalk?
Yes,
Yes.
everybody's away.
Okay.
So, public hearing.
Public event.
So what do we want to see at the sidewalk?
There used to be a camper.
Hey, if you want his autograph,
Maybe it was on this lot here, was it? Was it camper?
Can't be.
No?
Maybe.
Two things. I don't know why everybody left,
Yeah, I'm thinking, like in the 70s, early 80s.
but you have the edge of clearing. Well, we'll find out when we get there. What I think I want to see in the sidewalk is at least how the road's gonna roughly. And I think we can probably figure it out by walking through it, by eyeballing off the telephone poles and so forth.
We can,
It's pretty obvious where it's
we'll
going.
put a couple of stakes for alignment.
It'd be nice, yes. Maybe put a couple stakes in the back corners of the buildings.
How about if we just stake all 4 buildings?
It's looking hard.
I was gonna say the back corners of the buildings.
If we stake the
2
buildings
and 3.
and then,
If you stake the buildings.
set a grade,
Yeah,
I can tell you, standing here, the height of the building is
Yep.
high. Relative to where we're standing. I mean,
Put a
or,
stake,
or,
in- put a stake in the
or
corner,
one
cut
stake in the middle
15
of each
feet.
building, let's just do it that way.
yeah,
How about that? I think that's close enough. And then, we can do a relativity type of discussion.
With a cut to finish floor.
Yeah.
We know it's 24 feet up, we can
Okay.
figure
Could you
that
float
out.
a balloon up there, Mike?
I'm not playing with
Like you do when they build towers?
we'll put a Remax balloon up
buildings aren't that big.
there. I know.
If you dig a deeper hole.
We wanted to, honestly, we wanted to dig a deeper hole, but the 50-foot grading to the poles, that's the driving
As I
factor.
said, the driveway, the pole.
There was zero budge on that.
and instead of making that gradual, could you leave it the way it is and then just have a cut where you put stone or block or something?
No, because we have to grade, we have to give deference to Mrs. Rice's driveway. Her grades. to be appropriate.
I was gonna say, you cut it, you gotta fit between the poles, then you gotta hit Mrs. Rice's driveway.
That's why
And then you can do whatever you want to after that. There's nothing you can do after that.
that drove the grades of the existing site. We would like to get it 10 feet lower, but can't.
So it would be bad if her driveway were 10 foot lower?
Yeah,
You just gotta get back up the
grades
hill.
would be way too steep.
Steep driveway, take her flat driveway, make it steep, she wouldn't like that.
Well, the driveway's not flat. You'll.
No, I know that, but it's,
There's a big dip, you'll see that.
But can you totally redo the driveway from her house to the road and then make it level at the 10 foot lower level?
No.
they can't,
If we could,
They got
if
the
we could do a
poles.
10-foot cut on her property, Joe,
the driveway's going right near the
Yes.
poles here, so they got $50,000 a pole to move them, they don't want to do that, so. They gotta maintain enough cover by the
Does-
poles.
Does her driveway have to be exactly where it is now? In other words,
we're just altering the location slightly, but yes. Because now that PSNH has their lines established, we're really in a catch-22 o'clock.
but if you could find another way to give her access to the house,
Yes.
instead of here, over here,
Oh, no.
you know, something like that, would that
Let her go- let
make
her-
things
let her go
easier
to the oil
for
mill.
you?
Give her rights to go out to oil mill.
She would have to.
Oh, I know.
But if you made it so that her,
But she would have to go through the existing commercial site.
Right, which I'm sure she
Yeah,
would.
that would, yeah, she don't wanna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would ruin her. That would not be good.
We can,
Anyway, we can go like that around there.
we'll stake the buildings, and then we'll know how high and low and everything's gonna be.
Can you put at least something down at the bottom of the detention pond and near the leach field?
We'll
that's
stake
where
the
that-
center
that's where
line, we'll stake the center line of each.
That's getting as close as still all the butters.
I'll bring the sketch, yeah.
I'm not thinking how long it's gonna take you to do that kind of thing, but
Well, I think,
Craig, you said something before about Goffstown closing the road to trucks.
yes,
Which road?
Park Road.
Parker Station.
And so no pickups can go there?
no, 18 wheeler.
That's why they're all going through.
No dump
However,
trucks.
someone else in New Hampshire did that too, and they got sued. The Supreme Court said you can't do that.
I was saying it was correct.
You mean
Just
all,
recently.
you mean all of Mount Williams trucks
They come down here and out
go
here.
by her house?
Absolutely.
You gotta be kidding.
No, they all come right down here.
That's
Goffstown
what we're done.
How does one town, your state rep, how does one town get to do that? Everyone pays their over-the-road taxes.
Towns are allowed to, limit their
New
roads.
Hampshire Supreme Court said they cannot.
He also
But another
closed
town in New Hampshire
Twin
closed.
Well, Neil, look at it this way. I was proposing a gravel pit on, Cliff Wilson's property. What's that road?
Twin Bridge.
Twin Bridge.
Twin Bridges closed to truck traffic.
Because I was proposing a gravel pit on it. It wasn't closed before that.
I heard it was too many accidents at 114, so they made all the trucks run on Gould Road.
Yeah, that's because we were filing for a special exception to New Boston, and while we were filing for the special exception, no trucking sign off.
That's the kicker right there, the special exception.
In New Boston, not in Ware. The gravel tax being paid in New Boston, not to Ware. But our access was through Ware. Poof, no trucking. Before we ever got the zoning board. So it's not just Goffstown that does it.
So we'll take the bottom two corners of the detention basin close to the river.
I would actually prefer the toe slope.
The toe slope of the far toe.
Yes. Kind of like edge clearing that way.
Yeah, okay.
The same.
Are any
same
more
with these
trees
two.
going to be cut?
Are there any trees left?
Oh, yeah, there's a huge buffer between
Okay.
that was left.
Is he gonna cut those before we act on his application?
No. Now that we've submitted shoreland, it's like Pacific, and the site plan, nothing goes on site.
Yeah, you can't cut another tree.
You can't cut anything until we have a permit. And in fact, if you go through the shoreland rules, you can clear land for an agricultural conversion. What you can't do is say, I'm gonna clear this for an agricultural conversion, and then
Change your
within a
mind.
year or so, well, now I wanna do a parking lot, or I want this. Shoreland looks very poorly on that. So when Gary wanted to log it, he wanted to cut everything he possibly could. And we knew we were coming in here. And so we did some research on our end, and said, wait, don't, take what you need to pay your taxes, whatever, but don't. And then Chip got involved, he had all his permits, State Forester came out, They did everything by the book. All the logging was by the book. They left, I think the entire 150-foot natural woodland buffer to the river is untouched.
I think he's got more than 100.
He has a lot. He left a lot open. I mean, a lot untouched.
Natural.
We must have cut a lot, these folks weren't very active. I mean, if they're saying their state, their view shed is kaput.
Well, we all know that people can cut their.
Yeah, I know,
trees.
but I'm just saying that's, you know, if you wanted to have good rapport and you're gonna go forward with this project, maybe that wasn't the wisest thing to do.
Well, we knew we were coming for the project.
Yeah.
Maybe need the money to do the project.
And at the time she asked, all he was here for was that 24 oil mill. The trees were still standing.
Right.
And after he got through here, he went and cut those trees. Which building and land use had nothing to do with.
I timbered my property, I had neighbors calling me.
Until
It's
too
okay.
many neighbors complained, and then I was down there measuring stuff.
So we're gonna take the buildings and calculate how high it would be based on their the stake location, stake the detention pond, total limits, stake the leach field, and stake the proposed access.
At least up to her driveway.
Up to her driveway.
You can put a grade to her driveway, it'd be really nice.
Okay.
He said, okay.
You're gonna be able to bring a profile of her driveway along with you?
Yes.
It's gonna have existing and proposed grades.
Yep.
I knew that. Okay. Anything else we need?
You stand adjourned?
Well, first we've gotta continue this hearing until some other time.
The 31st.
No, it's a Saturday.
Want to do it at their board?
No, I don't think, we gotta get engineer review and everything. We don't need to do it then, can we do it at the end of the month?
Well, I think it needs to be a little more complete before we send it out for engineering. And there's a lot of stuff you guys have asked for here. Why send it for engineering review and then have to add that to it?
I disagree.
would prefer
I would
to
send
send
it.
it out right away.
Yeah,
Send it right now.
that's what I'm
That
thinking.
way, if there's a big, if they see something major that, you know, we have a serious blunder, which I know that we don't, I'd like to address it front load.
I don't see why we can't send it out.
Yeah, I would sort of
Would
say
you
that.
like to bring me a sendable set of plans, or do you want to just send them to Meridian? Bring them in here, I'll
We'll
send
hand
them.
carry them. You tell me who to give them to,
You
we'll
need,
hand
you need
carry
to
them.
come in here and get those minutes from Wendy and all those people too.
Okay, I'll bring,
That, all that stuff is on your, top of your file there.
On top of my file.
It's fine. I'm talking to
I
you.
will,
On the chair.
Looks like
Tom
my file.
Carr.
Somebody's confused.
I'll let you make copies of all the minutes and stuff for me and Tom Carr. I will
Okay,
get
but Tom
you,
Carr is the one that wants,
I will get you full sets of plans tomorrow.
okay. But the comments from Wendy and all the rest of those people are right there.
Is this for me?
That's for you.
This whole pile?
I think those are my folders you're touching now.
This
That's
is-
yours.
I think that's
for
yours.
you.
Thank you. So, do you have?
I'm sorry I took up 3 chairs, Mike.
No,
I apologize.
you're good.
Is there any reason to meet before we get the information back from Meridian?
No, I think we should continue it until April 26th.
That's what I was thinking.
So did you make a motion,
I
Bruce?
did.
Okay. Bruce made a motion to continue till April 26th.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And you're gonna, we can see